Hello, 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 everyone. It's Kim from K&RP here in southeastern Manitoba. It is currently 25 degrees Celsius with the humidex, which means it's 77 degrees Fahrenheit with the humidex. It is sunny. It's just got a light breeze. It's a lovely day out there. It's helping all the leaves fall down. I've got a couple of trees that are totally naked already. I guess it's getting to the end of September, so that's plausible. With October coming up, we can get snow at any time now. We had snow last September. It is what it is. So, anyway, it's a beautiful day out there. I can kind of see the sun through the basement window, and that's good. So, on Sunday, I started working on another chunky book. I base coated them. I put on some napkin and some music paper. So this is the start of the chunky book. Both sides have a coat of matte Mod Podge on it. So it's a good base. Hey, Pam, welcome, welcome. So I'm trying to decide. I want it to be a masculine chunky book. I'm not sure if it's going to have fun quotes on it, if it's going to have rude quotes. I haven't decided what's going on it yet. But definitely I'd like to do this a little bit more masculine than I have my other ones in the past. So I've got that one. And then after I finished painting those ones, I sent them out and Ron put holes in them for me. So they're ready to rock. Hey, Sherry, welcome, welcome. So I then did the other cardboards that I cut out. And I've got them to this stage where I've done some borders, some additional stamping with paint. I don't know what these are going to be. I have no idea none whatsoever. So I'm working on these, but these are the ones I'm working with you guys. So I thought that with it being masculine, I'm trying to think of the little bits that I do and what I've got that's masculine. Not overly much because I like flowers. Oh, Sherry, by the way, I got those stencils cut. They're in an envelope. They're going out this afternoon after my live. So, yeah. So what I did, because it's got the music paper on, I punched out. I do have a little punch that does musical notes. So I punched out a bunch of little black musical notes to glue on. Not sure if I want to use those or not. I thought about putting my fish on these, my little fish. So if I do that, then I can I also cut out my fish stencils. But when you cut out the fish stencils, you get the skeletons, right? So I thought I could put fish skeleton on, and then I could do maybe all quotes to go with fishing or something funny and rude or whatever I decide. But I could definitely do something like that. Um, Maybe some lines from songs that have fishing on it. Not sure. So if I use the skeletons, I've got some smaller skeletons. Didn't cut out overly much. But I've got some smaller skeletons and then a couple of my fish. Hey, Janet, welcome, welcome. Nice to see you. So if I use the fish skeletons and then some of my little fish characters that I did, I've got a good base for then putting on the sayings or whatever, if that makes sense. So I cut these out and it leaves me with this kind of a stencil. So I can either stencil them on or use these. It depends on how thick I want it, right? You're welcome, Sherry. So I'm thinking I'm going to use these maybe if I stencil this with a darker color, like a grayish maybe, and then put these on top, it would give it a shadow and give it some depth. What do you think? Should I try that? Kind of liking that idea. And then, of course, I would use my little colorful fish on top. I was trying to keep it all sort of in the same color range. So I would definitely look for like blues and greens and purple fish, which I've got. I'm sure I've got. And if I don't, I can always cut some, right? And then I would, of course, embellish them, decorate them after. But I'm thinking I could do fish, and I could, in blank spaces, use some of the musical notes. Maybe I'll actually punch some out of some brighter colors, like maybe some out of purple and blues as well. It does make a lovely stencil. I've used this. I've done a couple of cat journals, and I wanted fish skeletons for it because, cats eat fish. So I loved the way it turned out, and I've, you know, made this stencil a few times because I've wanted skeletons. With these, though, I'm thinking if I use them, I think what I'd like to do is age them a little bit with some brown paint. And these are pretty big. These ones are really big. They don't even fit. So let's pull the smaller ones out and put the big ones aside. I think I am just going to use these because stenciling takes a fair bit of time. And you guys watched me paint and glue and Mod Podge on Sunday. And that took a fair bit of time. So let's just use the skeletons that are there. And yeah, some are big, some are small. I think I've got enough to do one on each side. If not, I'm going to put them on various ones, right? And the ones that I don't have enough room for, then I will stencil. So what I'm going to do first is this is burnt umber. I've got burnt umber, and I have unbleached titanium white, which I was going to use for the stencil. So how is everyone? I watched Janet doing a slow stitching video the other day, and she was doing like little wonky houses, and she showed one of the little fun hearts she does. Oh, that heart was just so beautiful. I really need to do some more slow stitching. I don't know where my time goes. I really don't. So I just put a bit of those down. I have just a flat, I believe that's a 1/4-inch flat brush. I'm just going to mix up some of that brown and some of that white just because I want to do a bit of aging. Grunge them up a little bit so they look like old bones. And I want it really thin. I want it more like a wash than anything. So I'm just going to do this kind of thing on them and put them aside to dry. It's just going to give them that little bit of, makes them look that little bit old. Oh, you're welcome, Janet. I always love your slow stitch stuff. I do some, and then I get tired of it very fast because it doesn't go as fast as I want it to. Does that make sense? One thinner. Character, yeah. So I have no idea what these fish skeletons are. And I'm going to have some face one way, some face the other. These big ones are going to have to go the lengthwise of the page, not across the page. I could put them at an angle too. Because again, this is just another layer. Oh, that's really thick. I guess I could have put green on, almost like a mold, right? Maybe I'll add a spatter of green after. But like I say, I'm just trying to make them look that little bit older. These are really, really hard to ink the edges of. So I don't edge them until they're down on the page and dried a little bit. This eye hasn't come out, so I just wanted to get a toothpick to pop the eye. So that's the thing. I've just been doing a little bit of playing here and there, just, I did a bunch of black and white floral kind of leafy things because with that red and black journal, I don't know what the theme is going to be, but I figured that I would like to I'm sticking to those 3 colors for that journal. This guy's eye didn't come out either. I'm sticking to the red, white, and black only for that journal. Don't ask me why, but I really like the way. Okay, Janet, have a wonderful evening. Rest of your evening. Thanks for popping in. It's always nice to see you. As I say, I don't know what that red and black journal is going to be. But I have to admit, I really like making these little chunky journals. I like the sound of the plastic, which is very strange. I'm not really a plasticky kind of person, but I love them. It's all Becca's fault. Becca, it's your fault if you're here. I was following how she was doing her journals when I did my rude book. Yeah, I think I've only got enough to do one on each page. Maybe a little bit more. Anyway, it is what it is. I'll do what I've got. I just cut them out of cardstock because that's what I use for my stencils. So the next stage of these books, remember I was doing it stage by stage, is you've got the cardboard base. These were cereal box bases. Put the paint on, put transparent paper and opaque paper. And then you would come in with a stencil or something else. So I could, while I'm waiting for these fish to dry, I could use this and do some little musical notes as stencils all over these. I think that's what I'm going to do. But I think I don't know. I don't necessarily want black. And that purple doesn't really show on the blue or green. You know what? I guess it's going to have to be black musical notes. Then if I want colored ones, I can do them out of various colors. I've got a lot of paint down on this here lid. Lots of paint. Now I have a stencil brush. Just make sure that it's reasonably flexible. Oh, Pam, I watched your Friday sews and your son's pajamas, the fabric. Oh my goodness, they're so much fun. When my mom used to sew for me, it was boring. She did boring sewing. So I'm going to use this little bit here. I'm going to cut it off so I don't have this whole big thing to deal with. There's 3 musical notes. I'm going to do clusters of 3 or whatever. They're wonderful. Just really nice and colorful, and they look really cozy. Uh-oh. That one here was pretty wet. I hope I didn't go too far under it. Of course, I can come back and outline, etc. Can't remember if I'm doing these backwards or not. I think all the stems go, yep, I did them backwards. You know what? It's okay. It's okay. My musical friends, I can cover them. So I'm just going to put a couple of places musical notes on each of these. Then I'm going to put some fish down. And of course, I will come back and doodle these up as well. Spent a lot of time doodling on those red and black ones yesterday. Let's just put 3 musical notes. You know what? I wonder if I can wipe those off because it's on top of, look at that, the erase. It's because I've got that Mod Podge on there. I was able to get rid of those ones. There we go. Whew! Can't have them wrong way round, right? So is this little one your first granddaughter, Pam? Now the thing is doing this, now the orientation is decided on the pages, whether it's up or down. Let's do these up here. Just some fun stuff. I'm just trying to do some fun stuff. And of course, yep, these stencils may just get... Oh, you know what? I wonder if I had metallic black paint. Too late. Too late. And I am going to be putting stencils on both sides of the page. These little books, for some reason, I like them really consistent, I guess is the word. Oh my! That's awesome. So do you get to look after your grandson while the other one's being born? The black paint doesn't show overly great on top of that plaid napkin, but you know what? It's okay. Like Sherry said, it's just a layer. And I didn't go back and repaint any of these ones, Sherry, but I did with the red, those other ones. I did put a couple of coats on because it was really bad. The white that I used was a really cheap paint, obviously, because it was more like doing a wash instead of actually painting. Okay. Grandbabies are the best things in the world. I mean, I love my kids, but wow, my grandkids, if I could spoil them, I certainly would. I know that your daughter lives close to you. How close is other grand your grandson's going to be? You get to see her every day? Oh, that's wonderful. That is absolutely fantastic. Uh-oh, making a big smudgy mess. Why are you smudging? It's okay. As I say, I'm going to come back and doodle around them anyway. I used construction paper for this. That's why it's not holding up quite as well as a cardstock would. Quite often when I do these little miniature punches, I keep the negatives. I either use them as a negative or let's flip this way. I either use it as a negative or I use it as a stencil. Whoop, you're sliding. I think I do have a stamp with musical notes on it. I didn't have time to look for it, so all right. Now let's flip them over and do the other side. Oh, that's not bad. Okay. It's nice when they're that close. I've got two grandsons that live in the town to the east of us, and my granddaughter and grandson live um, to the town to the west. So I'm right in the middle. But I mean, the ones on the west are now adults, so I don't really get to see them as often. Well, one of them doesn't live there anymore. Or close. She lives in British Columbia for the winters, and because she works in the hotels and ski resorts, and then she traveled Europe this summer with her partner. But she's home right now, and they're coming for supper on Thursday. I saw them briefly Saturday. We ran into them and my daughter at the farmer's market. So also when you're doing the chunky books, you can use fabric. You could add some stitching. You could add whatever you like. Because this one's masculine, I am not going to add stitching. I thought about it, but I'm not going to. The red and black one, since I haven't decided what it's going to be when it comes together, that one I would really like to do some stitching on. I've got some nice red crochet cotton actually that I thought would give it a bit of a punch. Oh, you know what? I'm not even checking to see that the other sides. Could be interesting. So your kids back into the school routine, Pam? Sherry, do your grandkids live near you? See, you can still really see the cereal box underneath. It's great having them back in school. Yeah, it gives you that bit of quiet time. I mean, I love my kids, but when they were in school, I could have some real quality downtime from being a mom, wife, you know what I mean? That sometimes it's hard. I mean, my husband worked nights for a lot of years. I'm just wiping off the bottom of this paper because it's starting to get soggy and leaving, yeah, freedom too. Definitely the freedom too. I mean, there were some days, and they know it, and I'm honest about it, that I would just spend the entire day in bed with a good book just because I needed to recoup, especially when they were teenagers. And I really can't say anything because I'll still curl up in bed with a book for a day. So I mentioned on Sunday that I'm contemplating going back to sell stuff at the museum come spring. And that was kind of my idea for doing these books, that I could sell them possibly at the museum, have a couple of them there. But I just haven't quite decided yet. So this is going pretty fast. Trying to hurry up and do this. This is why I've decided I didn't really want to stencil all the fish skeletons as well, because I know how long some things take. And then I also have to decide. Oh, no, it's okay. I also have to decide what kind of shape I want to use for doing the sayings. In my rude book, I used all 2-inch circles. Okay, that's that. Where's the wet spot on this? Just clean up those black smudgy marks. All right. So the fish are ready to go on. They're nice and dry. Um, of course, Now's also when you would put die cuts on, you would do different marks if you want to do like stripes in the green, whatever. Now's when you would do it. I'm not going to bother doing any more background mark making, or am I? Um, no, I don't think I am. I'm just going to start putting my skeletons down. Kind of want the musical notes visible. So we'll put the skeletons down. Oh, so it's almost like an accordion folder kind of thing, Pam? Or just like a big pocket? Are you making like little pocket purses? Oh, on a sweater. Oh, okay. That's cool. Okay, so grab the glue. Lots of paint. Lots of paint left to play with. So this is the side with the greebly marks on. My glue is being... I have to take it apart. There's something dry in there that is not letting me squeeze it out nicely. And I'm hoping that I can get Ron to get the top, like the cap part of this, unscrewed for me without damaging it, because I will be very sad if this poor thing falls apart on me. Those are pretty big skeletons. I might have to make smaller ones. Oh, that's good. Hi, Jan. Welcome, welcome. I am making a little chunky book, and I decided this one's going to be masculine. So I did a bunch of fish skeletons. I'm going to use my little fish and the skeletons and musical notes, and that's going to be the kind of decor. So I just stenciled some musical notes on so my fingers have black paint all over them. I cut these fish skeletons out this morning, ran them through the Cricut, and using them on the I can send you the image if you want. I used them originally in the cat junk journal I did. Okay, so we're going to make sure I'm trying to keep things equal because I want these books to I really want these books to flow, like the way I did my other rude book. The elements are the same. They might be in different colors, but many of the elements are the same. For some reason, these little chunky books, I really like all the pages to be the same. Well, not exactly the same, if you know what I mean. It's send the images, okay. So after these ones come out really nice, this is just cardstock, of course, and then it gives you these wonderful stencils. And I cut them pretty big. I know I've cut them smaller in the past. Oh, see, I'm trying to make sure that each page, it's, you know, this is on the fronts, those are on the backs. Then I just spattered them, or, scribbled some brown burnt umber mixed with unbleached titanium white, watered down, so it's more like a wash, so that they look a little grungy. They don't have to be straight, Kim. They're fish skeletons. They are great for Halloween too. I was thinking that as well. So I'm hoping that I have enough that I've got one for each page, and if not, I will definitely end up stenciling on top. And again, other things are going to be coming and covering these skeletons up. Oh, that one almost looks like he's camouflaged. Side. So what you been working on, Jan? I was just saying that I'm contemplating going back to the museum for next year. I talked to the lady there, and she was happy to hear from me, but she did not send me the application yet. I was kind of hoping to get it so that, you know, I think about it now and I want to do it, but when it comes right down to it, I'm not too sure that I want to go back. Does that make sense? Okay, see, I'm covering up those musical notes already. That's fine. Oh, 3 and 3. Trying to decide which one's got the paint on it. This one. So, yeah. The thing is she asked if I'm going to be coming back with my finger puppets and all the other stuff that I created, and of course Ron's stuff as well. She knows that I do the journals. I can do those as for her. Um, the thing is that's a lot of crocheting again. Right. Oh, you didn't get much. What did you get? Share with us. Share with us, Jan. What'd you get? This side. This side. So again, too, if I have decided to go back to the museum, the nice thing is I do have all winter to make stuff. Especially if it's crochet, because I can't crochet for long periods of time. So it's going to be like those bookworm bookmarks I do, and the kittens, the little purses, the finger puppets. I don't know. I don't know. Do I want to get back into. See, now I'm talking to you guys, and it's like, Anyway, it's a beautiful sunshiny day out there. We've had rain for the last couple of days, so the leaves are really wet, so can't really rake them right now. We get so much leaves in the yard. We have a lot of big trees, and we can get 20 big leaf bags, if not more, like 14 to 24, depending on the way the wind blows and if the neighbors' leaves get blown into our yard as well. If anybody else has a cricket, I could send you the image that I use for these stencils as well, these skeleton stencils. I'm actually thinking they'd be really cute in vinyl and do t-shirts with fish skeletons. I saw a really cute pair of sweatshirts yesterday. It was on Pinterest, so it was on somebody's Etsy site, and it was two T-shirts. One said "somebody's problem," and the other one said "somebody." I thought they were very cute. Three sticker pages. Oh, washi tape, nice. A tacky glue stick. Oh, that sounds nice. The vintage. I'd like to see a picture of that. That sounds very cool. Uh oh. Uh oh. What am I doing? Oh, okay. That goes on. Oh, see? I have to do a couple more this way. This way. Okay. I would love to see a picture. See, I was thinking that because it's a museum, if I was doing murals, I would have to do them quite vintagey, which isn't too much of a problem. I've got lots of old book pages and things that I could use. I've got lots of. I don't know if I would want to do them shabby chic, but I mean, that's all pastel-y stuff too, right? It's the faded things, and I don't know. I just don't know. See, so even though I've got book page down, I'm covering it up. You can tell it's book page because of the music of the treble clef and a couple of notes. Four of those, six of those. So I have to do two more that way. I know this is boring. I am hurrying as fast as I can go so that we can get to the next stage in these books. And then, of course, I keep comparing it to the Rude book that I did because that was the original one that I'm kind of copying for the steps. And I figure out that one of the pages right in the middle of the book, and it's all hand sewn together, right? It's hand bound, whatever. So it doesn't have Mod Podge coating on it. It's a good thing it's my book and it's not going anywhere. But I'm looking for that plastic sound, right? Like I really like that sound that Becca had for her books. So I'm still going for the sound. Oh, I bet it was incredible. We used to have a fashion museum in Dugald. First, it was like a military museum. Then it was the fashion museum, and now it's an art gallery. I really would like to go see it. Dugald is a little town to the north of where I am, and it's probably about 20 minutes away. 6, 2, 4, 6. All right, so I do have enough to go and have one on each page, like one side of each page. Some of these spines are pretty thin. Probably would have been better if I'd have used glue and a brush. But of course, I didn't think of that. It probably would have been a lot faster too for you guys. "15-inch waist." Oh my goodness. No words. No words. 2, 4, 7. I guess I probably should have spattered these with brown as well. Didn't think of it. Just to give some darker marks. That is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Okay, one more, and it doesn't matter which side this goes on because I have an odd number of pages. I've got 15 for this book. I have 16, I believe, for the red and black book. Oh no. Is it me that's flicking on and off? Is anybody else having that issue as well? All right. I have stuff stuck. I'm going to go and wipe my hands. Actually, I'm going to go and grab a package of baby wipes because I have found that lately when I get really, really sticky and I'm working with little things, I can leave some really ugly, boogerty glue mark things on my work, and I don't like it. Don't like it. I don't know. I don't know. See, I've got glue. I've got paint. There. Much better. Much better. Much better. So yeah, I have just been doing some doodling and playing lately. It no, I didn't quite get. I don't know how I get all the way on my palms. Probably when I'm pressing things down. It was hilarious when I was coating them yesterday because I got Ron to do the holes so that I could give them all double coats of Mod Podge, like each side of the page of Mod Podge. And so, of course, I was gluing down on the red ones. I was putting tissue paper down with Mod Podge. So I was putting that and white tissue paper over the holes. So I was taking the handle end of the brush and going through the hole to make sure that the hole stayed so that it was a hole, right? So I'm painting, and all of a sudden my brush is stuck in my hair because of all the Mod Podge on the handle of the brush. So my hair was like just this big clump of Mod Podge stuck in it. Just, goodness. That's all I can say. Goodness. I don't know. Dress me up can't take me anywhere. I guess that means I'm getting, right into my work. All right, so I can turn these over and I wonder, can you fit like this? He can fit like that. That's wonderful. And because I'm going to be using that Coptic stitch or Copic, whatever that stitch is called, for putting these together so that it opens flat like my rude book, this one, right? It's that stitch. You see? So that when I open it, it's flat. I need the holes. I don't know if I'm going to put reinforcements on them. I guess I probably should have done that before, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. And this side. Uh-oh. Don't know which side I took that from. Well, we'll just add it to this one. Well, when I cook, I definitely have my hair tied back. And I probably should when I art too. But sometimes I don't. So it does get all kinds of funky colors. That's nothing new either. Ooh, slide back, slide back. And the nice thing too about these skeletons, because the spine part is so thin, you can kind of bend them. I'll show you what I mean. I've got those really big ones that don't fit on these little pages. These. So you can, when you've got glue on them, they'll move a little bit so that you can have them a little bit different shaped. If that makes sense? All right. So I've got the fishy skeletons on. So I've got musical notes and fish on this one. This one probably I would stencil with fish. Let's put those ones aside. I can quickly stencil some fish. The stencils are bigger Not as tedious as these little ones. That's both sides. Then the rest of these are just one single-sided. Okay, these single-sided ones I'm going to use a stencil on. So let's close this glue up. I've been having problems with this glue not flowing nice, as I said. So I have unbleached titanium white and the brown. I want to use little fish stencil. So I'm just going to cut along here because I just want to use those little fish, I think. Yeah, I think those will be fine. Get the stencil brush. Had black on it, but that's okay. It would just make it look grungy. So that's the way the musical notes go. And I think if I want anything cut off, it would be the tail part of the fish. Yeah, stencil works out pretty good too. So these other ones are just going to get little fishy stencils on. Again, if you're doing a book, a little chunky book, do it your style. You don't have to use stencils. You can use stamps. You can use whatever you have. Oh. Like I say, on that red and black book, I really want to do some slow stitching on it. Probably just some running stitch on, across the middle of the page kind of thing. Uh-oh. Where did my wet wipe go? Some extra paint here. I'm just going to remove. You just have to make sure your brush isn't overly wet, Jen. Your brush or your sponge. So if you put it in the paint, just tap it off on the side because you want it as dry as possible. And then if you're reloading the brush, go into this where blah 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 where you tapped it off. You can usually get enough paint there. Oh, I didn't take the one out for the big fish. Oh, and I think I'm doing this one upside down. It's okay. Don't dead fish float upside down? I think I remember when I had an aquarium growing up, whenever I had dead fish, they'd be floating on top. belly up. Just trying to figure out where I'm not going to lose too much of the background. Yeah. Maybe. Let's try this one. Do you fit across? Just fits across. So as I say, I haven't decided if this is going to be a rude book or if I'm going to just have quotes about fishing or, busted knuckle garage kind of quotes. Okay, so I cut the really big stencil off. I need this one. This one here. If I go like that, I am not covering up that musical note. And as I say, those little musical notes that I stenciled on, I'm going to doodle over, add doodles to them, outline them, and maybe turn them into stripes or polka dots or something. And that way I could use purple ink. Do I have purple ink? I don't think I've got purple ink. I can use green ink or blue ink to do that. And then, of course, when I did my chunky book, I used some metallic paint, which turned out really nicely. The other thing too, Jan, when you're doing this, if you think your brush has too much paint on it, start it in the largest area possible and work your way to the edge. If you start at an edge, it will leak under. So it's good to start in a larger area than a small. You know what? I'm just going to take some brown and I'm going to add a little bit of brown here and there just so that it looks funky. I didn't do that on these other fish. I probably should have. I can always come back and add some. It just keeps the edges that little bit crisper, I think. Okay, I'm going to go back to small fish now. I also, when I was playing yesterday, I had some ATCs cut from the cardboard that I had left over from doing these. So I glued that napkin onto them because I really thought that would be a great background, right? This one got stuck to my page because, napkin can stick. If, you put the Mod Podge on, you put the thing down, and then the, what am I saying? The Mod Podge leaks through the napkin because it's so thin, so it picked up all kinds of little bits of greeblies on my page. You know how that goes. I'm trying not to put these guys in the same positions. Even though I'm using the same elements, I'm trying to make it a little bit random for the placement. If that makes sense. Of course, if you guys decide to do a book like this, maybe you just want to do it totally random. Pam, are you still here? I have to ask you how long that blanket is now. You showed it briefly from a distance, and it's like, wow, that must weigh a ton on your lap when you're working on it. I was watching Pam's video from Friday, and she was showing the blanket she's working on. She has a knitting loom, and it's looking really, really good. But it's huge. Looks absolutely huge. Hey, Shaz, welcome, welcome. I am working on a chunky book like Becca did because I love the way the plastic sounds on her books. That's excellent, Pam. So, how wide is it then? So, if um, I'm doing it in stages, right? So the very first stage was cutting out the 3 inch by 4 inch cardboard out of cereal boxes. Then I put paint on. I decided this would be painted in the green, purple, and blue for this book. Um, so I did that, and then I put napkin and musical paper on. Then I Mod Podged it all and got the holes drilled in it. Not wide enough, twin size wide. Oh, that's still a decent size. So then I Mod Podged it, had the holes drilled. So today I have stenciled on some little black musical notes. I put some die cut fish skeletons on because I've decided this is going to be masculine. And so I'm just finishing. I didn't have enough die cuts to do both sides of each page. This one needs to be glued down. So I'm just stenciling the skeletons on. Oh, that would be nice. So if, no, I guess that wouldn't work. So anyways, Jazz, that's kind of what I'm at now. I'm just doing the last couple with stencils on. Then I'm going to glue on my little fish. And then I'm going to decide if it's going to be a rude book or I don't know. I don't know. So I'm just using titanium white and some burnt umber to do the skeletons. And I haven't decided on what kind of shape I would like to use for the sayings that I'm going to put on. Yeah. Good idea, Pam. I did one like that too. I was just using up yarn for an Afghan, used it for one of my daughter's blankets. It was just, you know, so because I did it in strips, I think I did like 30 stitches wide, or I varied even the width of them. So some of them had like 8 rows, some of them had like 25 rows in the color because that's what I had. Just use it up. Using it up. Oh yeah. I did mention on Sunday that I'd talk to the lady at the museum. Then also it would mean doing like my dishcloths and scrubbies. Oh, do I really want to do that? What was I thinking? I think it's because we went to the farmers market on Saturday and I saw a few people that I've done craft shows with in the past. And, asking how their season went and everything. And it's like, I want to do that again. And now it's like, do I? Do I really? I don't know. I don't know. The nice thing is you meet people from all over the place, right? Because it's very tourist oriented. During the summer, it's majorly tourists. So sales are really great as a rule. It's just having all the inventory. Just having all the inventory. All right, those are all stenciled. Yeah. But the thing too with the museum, I didn't cover my glue up. Am I going to have issues with that again? What was I thinking? Um, Not being Mennonite, I don't know the history, like for when they were persecuted and they came from Russia. And you know what I mean? Like, I'm not really familiar about, because they ask you all kinds of questions. And because I'm in the general store, I don't know if you were there with me one day, Jan. I can't remember. Um, so I'm in the general store, and they have lots of old, like washing machines, telephones, dishes, meat grinders, toasters, whatever, right? Like you would find in a general store way back when, buttons and threads and fabrics. That aren't for sale. They're part of the displays. But I don't have, Mennonite isn't my background, right? So they'll ask me questions, and a lot of times I can't answer what they're asking. So I'll phone the front desk and get some information, but it's just, I don't know. I don't know. All right, so we've got fish skeletons and musical notes. I think I'm going to save these musical notes and I can add them in after. So now it would be doodling on these and figuring out what kind of shape I would like the sayings to go on. I did 2-inch circles on this. I can't show you guys, it's rude. You didn't stay long? Yeah. I think we just ran in and picked something up. So this one I used 2-inch circles on. I don't know, maybe I'll use like a square, but then I have to, it's easy enough to put them on the zip cutter thing and do it 2-inch squares maybe. Let's see what a twinchy looks like on. Oh yeah, a twinchy would be good because I can put them off center and stuff too. Twinchies would work. Some of them I will lose, like the background stuff, depending on where I put them. But that's okay. Because if I use a 2-inch circle, It still covers up a fair bit of the background. Like, see there, I would lose all those musical notes. So I'm not going to do any doodling or anything until I've decided what I'm going to use for the sayings. Circles or squares, guys? Circles or squares? Anyone? Ideas, thoughts? Circles? Okay. All right. Then circles it is. Oh, throw that on the floor. I didn't need that anyway, right? That twinchy. So I guess, like I said, I'm trying to keep it on this color palette. What about, does this blue swear at that blue? Does that blue swear at that blue? Let me get a darker blue. This is just copy paper. I'm just going to use copy paper because I have lots of that blue. I don't think I've got purple copy paper. The other thing is I try and write all the sayings before I glue them down because I've had to change them up. Which blue? This blue? Or I'm just going to fold this in half here. This blue. Dark blue, light blue, or both? Should I do both? Circles of both? And then, oh, I don't have purple ink. Didn't I just decide that? But I do have purple markers that I could write with to pick up the purple. And I can do purple paint around the edges. The medium one, this one, light or dark? Dark, light. This one? That one? Top or bottom? Dark or light? Medium. Top. So that's this one. Okay. All right. So I will grab my 2-inch hole punch. This is a Fiskars 2-inch squeeze punch. It is a pretty blue. I have so much of it. I had done some snowman journals. So I bought a package of each of these, and I think there were like 500 in the package. So I'm using these up now. Let's move the paint. Start cutting circles. I think I've got 2 papers here. Nope, it's quite thick. That's okay. I've had this punch for so long, it doesn't like to cut out single layers of copy paper anymore. So, oh yeah, that punches out nice. It does, it does. So I believe I've got 15 pages, so that means I need 30 circles plus some extra. Oops. And you know what? I wasn't really paying attention. So I've got a couple with little nips out of the edge. I'm just going to be doing borders around this and decorating it up anyway. So we've got, I'm going to do one more page. One more page, and I think that will be good. I can always use the circles for other things. I could turn them into ATC coins, trading card coins. Sent my trading cards off for Joni's group today. Oh, getting way close to the edge there, kid. So those are in the mail. I've just been on top of things these last couple of days. It's amazing. I haven't been cooking much. We've been eating out of the freezer because I've got so much stuff made and in the freezer. Happy about that. All right. So those are done. So now I just kind of have to, what I'm going to do is figure out where they're going to go on so that, okay, so I know that this one, I do have to embellish this stuff. That makes sense? I will be doodling on the musical notes and on the skeleton. And I will be adding the little fishies after. Like my little, these fishies. And you know what? Just because the background's that color doesn't mean my fish have to be that color, right? Right. I could put an orange fish coming off the side or something. So the fishies will be going on after. Now we just have to find some sayings. I don't know. Do I want to go rude? Do I want to go funny? Do I want to go sarcastic? Do I want it to, you know? Fish are going on last, so I'm not too worried about them. As I say, I don't have purple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the purple paint and I'm going to sarcastic funny. So rude. Adult or any age group? PG or X? Jan, Shaz, Pam. Who else is here? Okay, purple paint. I'm just going to edge these a little bit. Well, see, this one is Sarcastic Funny X. Not rude. Okay. Don't want that brush. Want a liner brush. All ages. Oh, that's going to be tough for me to find there, Jen. I'll do it. So I'm just going to do S marks around the edge of this one. Again, I'm picking up the purple that I used. Of course, I can come back in and add white polka dots or black polka dots to these. I can use that unbleached titanium white as well because it will pick up the fish and the music paper. And normally, also, I wouldn't be doing this until I've got the sayings on because that would be work that I would just go gone, right? So that's the kind of thing I'm going to do around the edges. Just some dots. All this adds your personal touch to your work. Yeah, not straight. Not overly worried. It's handmade, right? And because this is a masculine book, I'm trying to go more masculine than feminine. I'm not going to add any swirlies or flowers or anything like that. Don't smear the paint. So I figured that one would go like that. So that's what it'd be like. And then with some fish and doodling, maybe what I would do is take just colored circles of paper, and I could embellish those with like a star or something. I did have, Ron had made me a stamp, and I knew I had it on my desk, and I've seen it recently, but I can't see it right now. And what he did was he took a whole bunch of different screw heads, like Phillips and Robertsons and flatheads, and he screwed them into a wooden block so I could use it as a stamp. So I'm going to see if I can find that, and maybe that I could stamp in the off-white. All right, so we've got plans. Not plans, got plans. So, not X-rated, not too rude. Let's try sarcastic. I'm in Pinterest now, so I'm just going to look for sarcastic one-liners. PG. Dark humor quotes that will crack you up. Insults. Things like, if I agreed with you, we'd both be wrong. Hey, Belinda. Welcome, welcome. Oh, you're still with the hospital visits. I'm sorry it's lasting so long for you. I'm just working on a chunky book, and this one's going to be masculine. So I was just looking up. It keeps buffering. Wow. I wonder if it's me. Has anybody else had the problem? Just kind of looking some quotes that I would like to put in this book, and people have agreed that they like sarcastic, PG, sarcastic and funny for all ages. One big difference between men and women is that if a woman says, smell this, it usually smells nice. No, this is a masculine book. I need a leaf blower, but for people? No buffering, Sherry? All right. Good to know. Sarcasm is just another free service I offer? That kind of thing? I don't know. Hey, Janet, welcome back. Just kind of looking for some funny, sarcastic quotes that are family friendly. So, what we've come up with is I glued those cut out ones on, didn't have enough. So, I stenciled what didn't have the die cuts. We decided on using blue circles for the quotes, and that's the blue we decided on. So I figured I would edge them with the purple. These ones are for my book. Becca did a book and it sounded like plastic. It was a chunky book, and I loved the sound of it, Janet. So I made one the way she did it. Well, I did it my way, but it sounds like plastic. But this is very rude. This book, it's my rude book. And I did it with that overhand stitch, Coptic stitch, I think. Copic stitch, whatever. So I did it that way so that it does open flat. I can't show the printing because it's rude. So again, I used the circles on this one. So I was deciding squares or circles. The ladies, yeah, kind of fun. So I've decided that I'm going to use circles for the sayings, for the quotes. Just going to find some quotes. Of course, I am going to decorate these and embellish them. These ones, I've got to the point where they're edged. I just have to decide what theme I want to do. All the jings are different. They're all got the same elements. I seem to like that when I do books. This one, though, I think I'm going to put some slow stitching in. But they're almost. Almost a plasticky sound. They still will need another couple of coats of Mod Podge, I think. But I don't know what these are going to be, this one. Yeah, I'm making little chunky books. But I really don't know what this one's going to be. This one, because of the colors, I decided it would be masculine. And because I used this plaid napkin on them. Thanks, Jan. I really like that red, black, and white one too. I'm almost tempted just to leave it the way it is. But I won't. So I used this plaid napkin, and so I figured doing that, it would be masculine. That's why I'm putting the fish musical notes. And then I'm going to put my little cutout fish on. So I'm just looking for some quotes. And like I say, they'll go on these blue dots, blue circles. I will embellish with ink the fish and the music notes, but I'm not going to do any of the doodling on it until I have the circles down, because I don't know exactly where the circles are going to go. I've got a feeling a lot of the musical notes are going to get lost. So I do have a whole bunch that I punched out. I can add after or re-add later. But like I say, I'm going to put some little fish, the musical notes, not sure what else. Yeah. I can't do just one thing at once, right? And I know I promised I wouldn't start another project, and I've started two. So Jean had been showing a bunch of her doodles and her books on Friday. And I really liked her black background with white doodles on. So that led me to thinking I would do a black, white, and red book because I love those together. I really, really do. But you can see that this is a cereal box, right? You can see Raisin from Raisin Bran. Yeah, starting new projects is fun. The thing, though, Janet, is I don't always finish them. But because I'm thinking of going back and selling at the museum next year, I figured I would make up a bunch of stuff that I could take to the museum. So it has to be family friendly if I take it to the museum. Yeah. And it's got to be pretty plain. It's got to be plainer than a gnome book. I could do a gnome book. Gnome book with mushrooms and or fairy houses. I could definitely do that. Don't think I want to do that on the red and black one though. I have a feeling like the red and black one, it would look nice with like a martini kind of glass stencil if I had one. And then, I don't know, or a wine glass. In which case, it definitely couldn't go to the museum. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. I'm just playing. Just playing. But yes, I like the idea of a gnome book. I would have to make little gnomes. Little gnomes. Or gonks. Gonks would actually be easier. Then I don't have to do eyes. We'll see. Yeah. But when I was at the thrift store, I bought these game cards. Right? But it's what, 20 questions? 21st century 20 questions? And it's not a game that we would play because we don't know the answers, because It's all about the USA. So I'm going to use these and make a taller plastic book. I could probably do two or three. This would be really nice for gnomes or scarecrows. Gnomes. The other thing is Mennonite people, they don't believe in fantasy, like they don't believe in religion. They don't celebrate Halloween. They don't dance. They don't have TVs, a lot of them. They do have radios, but they don't have TVs. The women all wear skirts. It's very, it's almost like the Amish. So, selling stuff at the museum, I do things like tea cozies and dishcloths and scrubbies and little stuffed animals, like a lot of crocheting that, I mean, I could just make these books and have them for my family and not sell them at the museum because they wouldn't sell. They wouldn't be acceptable. They do celebrate harvest time, but not the way that we would do like a Thanksgiving. And if they go to like a Mennonite school, it only goes up to grade 9. So it's quite a land based culture, if that's the word for it, that they do the farming. The women do everything from scratch. It's, I'm not saying that it's dark ages kind of stuff, but it is not modern day lifestyle in a lot of cases. And one of the things they believe in is they put money in the bank. They like to see the interest, but it doesn't get spent because it wasn't earned. They didn't earn it by working for it. So it's a very, very interesting culture. And of course, I moved from North End, Winnipeg to here, and I went through culture shock, to say the least. I have lots of good friends in the area. I have to admit, it's it's very different culture though. So, okay, you know what? This isn't going to go to the museum. This is just going to turn into another rude book. I think all these little plastic ones that I'm doing will be rude books. Because I like the sarcasm, etc. And the stuff for the museum will be the dishcloths and tea cozies and pot holders, that kind of stuff. But then, too, it depends on what other people are selling there. Because if somebody else is doing dishcloths and scrubbies, I cannot do it. So I figured that I would do journals, like little journal things, and get a head start because I know nobody else is going to be doing this. So I think it would have to be blank journals and not. Does that make sense? And I've done greeting cards for there. I've used my Goonie Birds for greeting cards and sold them there. I bet you know what, Janet? I bet you your lovely sewn tassel things would work there too. Because they could use that. Even though they don't believe in embellishing something, it's got the buttons and it's got the stitching. I bet you I could do those. Freddie sure was attentive at your live yesterday, Janet. He was just sitting up and paying attention. He was really involved with us. It was really cute to see. Because normally when I watch, he's curled up but he was really alert yesterday. So I am going to do some more borders on this. Had a really interesting conversation with my eldest grandson last week. They came for supper, him and his girlfriend and his mom, my daughter. Um, we were talking about Christmas and birthdays and things, and he says that he doesn't want gift cards because he's working now and he'd much rather have something that somebody bought him and thought about him and whatever or made for him. So he's come full circle, that young man. He says, now I'm working. I don't need money. I will be happy with whatever you get me, do for me. So that's really nice. Now the problem though is he wants me to redo one of the Afghans he had as a kid that I had made, but he wants it for a queen size bed. That's a lot of money. Hey, Miriam, welcome, welcome. I don't know if he heard something outside. I know that you were mentioning about his friend that you were taking care of for those few days and something about treats, but normally he's not as alert as he was. And you've mentioned his name in other times we've chatted online, like in your stream, and you've mentioned his name, and he's just kind of opened an eye and looked at you. But yesterday he was just on the ball, absolutely on the ball. How are you, Miriam? Love your outhouse. It's coming along great. Watching your outhouse come together, I was just kind of laughing because my girlfriend and I decided to surprise my mom, and we went out to her cottage for a weekend and we painted her outhouse. We filled it with painted all the inside with flowers, and we had a great time. The only problem is it was an outhouse and both of us were trying to be in there and painting, and I forgot to take paint brushes. So we did the whole thing with Q-tips, like those cotton swabs. Yeah, it was a good time. She sure was surprised. Yeah, I've things are fun. You got to have fun doing things, right? Like I don't know if any of you have caught any of Miriam's lives lately. She has been doing a haunted house. It is absolutely incredible. It's about the size of a dollhouse, maybe a little smaller, either way. But she's done all the furniture and her spooky house, and now she's doing a spooky outhouse. It's wonderful. She's doing such a good job. Miriam's so creative. She's, always got something different happening. Always something different. Some bats for the spooky outhouse. Oh, yeah. I used to have, I'd sewn them. So the wings were done on a wire structure, and they had wings so that you could shape the wings, but the body was just kind of like a round ball of fabric. It was shaped a little bit, and then it had the wings, and used to hang them outside all the time at Halloween, but somebody borrowed them and I never got them back. Seems to be the way things happen, right? I think it was when my girlfriend was doing, she had 5 acres of bush property and she had trails throughout it. And she would decorate them for Halloween. And as adults, we would go and be um, the head under a platter kind of thing. So you're sitting under the table with your head through the hole in the table and a cake platter lid thing on top or a pot. So they'd lift the lid and, or, you know, ghosts or zombies throughout the paths, witches. We had a lot of fun. The kids always enjoyed Halloween. She was always so creative. But she doesn't have the property anymore, so. But I'm pretty sure that I loaned her the bats and probably said, "You do such a great job of Halloween, you might as well keep them." Yeah, we got the fishing tackle box back. She came for supper last week, and Ron messaged her about every hour, tackle box, tackle box. So it came back. I think we're going to go fishing tomorrow, actually, which would be nice. I'd like to get some fish. But that was very funny. Oh, the fishing tackle box. It's a tackle box with all the fishing hooks and lures and that kind of thing in it, right? So my daughter borrowed my fishing rod and tackle because she was going fishing with her new friend. And so we wanted to go fishing, so we asked her to bring the stuff back. And she brought my fishing rod and reel, but she forgot the tackle box, which wouldn't be so bad. We do have other tackle boxes, but that holds like all the stuff that we really like to use, the certain lures and things. So, and our filleting knife and, you know, our stuff. So she borrowed the tackle box, and when she brought the fishing rod back, she didn't return it. And then she was coming over another day, and so I reminded her about the tackle box, and again she forgot it. So when she was coming for supper last week, Ron nagged her every hour saying tackle box so that she would remember to bring it back. Because we're annoying like that. But you loan your kids stuff and good luck in getting it back. I don't know. I just don't know. Don't know. But yeah, my kids like to come, and it started out that my older daughter wanted to carve something for her then husband. And she does beautiful carvings. She's got a nice talent for it. Both my daughters carve beautiful. So anyway, she came and she borrowed my carving tools, the things that worked for her because she's left-handed. So some of the knives she couldn't use because it's the wrong side of the blade is sharpened for her. Does that make sense? So anyway, she took whatever carving equipment, and I've never seen it again. Now my other daughter's carving, and she's taken the rest of the stuff, but I haven't carved for a while. My hand just can't take it anymore, so it's okay. But they borrow things, and we all know that it's not borrowed, right? Hey, Dana, welcome, welcome. I'm working on a chunky book, like Becca's chunky books. I'm looking for that plastic sound. So I'm close to it, but I'm just trying to decide. Oh, good. Yeah, testing is so expensive. Yeah, Dana, did you have a good birthday yesterday? Happy belated birthday. I don't think I wished you a happy birthday yesterday. It was Kat's birthday too. Not your birthday, it was Kat's birthday. Kat and can't remember. Was it Janet's? The other Janet's? Well, I know that it was Kat Hand's birthday yesterday. We sang your happy birthday on your channel, right? So I'm working on a chunky plastic book. And I was trying to decide what I want to put as the sayings or whatever. So we've agreed that it's going to be sarcastic and possibly PG, but I doubt that it'll stay PG. It's going to be another rude book. Have you seen? There's a lady. Her name is Renee Tay, and she does like rude dishcloths and tea towels, and like she embroiders rude sayings on them. Hand embroiders rude sayings on. So I had the feeling that I wanted to do a rude book, so I made myself a rude book that style. It's very plastic sounding. I love the sound of it. Sarcastic stamps, very cool. I don't have stamps really with sayings on other than thank you and good job kind of thing. So I've been handwriting like my sayings on circles. So decided that this is the color circle that I'm going to use to put the sayings on. I'm just edging them with some purple kind of stuff. Delusions have some? Okay. That would be much easier than constantly hand doing stuff. I don't want to put them through the printer because I've just got an inkjet, so the print smears if I use Mod Podge over. So I'm just kind of doodling with purple paint around the edges because I do not have purple ink to doodle with. Oh, that'd be lovely, Dana. I'd love that. Thank you. And what would you like in exchange? If you stamp some of that stuff for you, I could send you some Kimbits. Oh, gel medium in a gel plate to seal the ink. That would be fun. I could try that. How does it work when you've got more than one layer? Do you know what I mean? Because I've got some, like these are die cuts out of, what is that? Cardstock. So I don't know that the whole thing would seal nice, Miriam. Does that make sense? So I ran my fish skeleton stencil through the Cricut today so that I had all my different fish skeletons to use. And then, of course, I just used that for the stencil to do the other ones that I didn't have enough for. So as I said, this is going to be a masculine book. It's going to be fish and musical notes. Seal it before I glue? Okay. So then I would have to do the sayings now. Oh, put them on the gel plate like this. Like print them, put them on the gel plate, cut them out, and then glue them. Is that what you mean, Miriam? I could definitely do that. I could definitely do that. And the gel medium doesn't muck up the gel plate? Like the medium doesn't make a mess on your gel plate? Oh, I'm going to have to try that. I do have some matte medium. That's modeling paste. I have regular gel gloss. Would that be what you would use? You did it recently? Put it over a gel plate, spread it on the gel plate. Yeah. And then take a full size piece of paper with all the printed stuff on it, put it on so that, and then cut them out. Well, so then why am I doing these circles? And the nice thing too would be that I could use various fonts in a Word document. I like that idea. I'm going to have to try that. I'm going to print out a Word document. I'm going to put this on the gel plate and I'm going to do that. And that could save a whole lot of time and trouble if I find nice sayings that I could use in journals and things. I like it. Yeah. Like you don't leave it on there to dry like you would some of the prints, right? You just do it and pull. Yeah, I've got my Mod Podge. This is matte medium. It's really thick. So that's what I've been using now, but I've got gloss and it works. This book was done with gloss. So I think I will use the gloss on top of the matte. It also gives it a bit of depth because I've done that with different polyurethanes on wood, that you put a couple of coats of matte on and then the final one with gloss, and it makes it look much deeper. No, I wouldn't put Mod Podge on the gel plate. That's why I was wondering about putting this golden medium on the gel plate. Blends well with other golden gels, mediums, or colors. Golden medium's okay? Okay. Yeah, we do a fair bit of woodworking, and some of this stuff, if we don't care that it's got like a plasticky finish on, so like little boxes and things, we'll put a couple of coats of matte on and then one of gloss, and it gives it depth. I'm trying to think if I've got anything down here with that on it. I don't think so. I think it's all upstairs. But no, I wouldn't put Mod Podge on the gel plate. See, I learned something today too. Very cool. Very cool. So as I say, I did stencil these little musical notes on, but a lot of them are going to be covered. But I do have some punched out ones. I will probably replace the stenciled ones with, and I might do them in various colors so that they're kind of happier. I am going to outline and embellish the skeletons. These skeletons, the ones that are die cuts, I probably won't. I'll just outline them. And then, like I say, this book, I have no idea what it's going to be. I have no, I just had so much fun doing it. I don't know, like the circles, I don't know if they're going to be red, white, or black. I did punch out a bunch of 1-inch black circles. No, that's not it. So that I could use black circles for decorating on them. And then I also did a whole bunch of like little florally black on white. So I'm going to be using those and the black dots. And I don't know what else on these ones. These ones are a mystery book. It's what I've been playing with. What else have I been playing with? I think that's about it. So, once again, review the steps of these. Piece of cardboard, put on the paint, put on opaque and translucent papers, Mod Podge both sides, put marks on it, stencils, whatever. This one I did the floral stencils. A lot of the other stuff was added later on. I used all kinds of bits of paper and things. Okay, so then you do your doodles and stuff on it. You put your saying or your focal point, Mod Podge it, and add the last little bits of decor. So it would be, I'll put this down, do the doodles, add the musical notes, whatever else, and then give it a final coat of Mod Podge, if not two, and then put it together. So that's how you do a chunky book, or that's how I do a chunky book. I don't know what else. A lot of magazine images, stamps, stencils, decorate it the way you like. This one I did go overboard with, but this is my style, right? All the little bits and additions. Mod Podge it, so then you get that sound. Doesn't have the sound yet. Needs a couple more coats with Mod Podge and paint. So there you kind of have it. I haven't done blah blah blah. I haven't been creating much of anything, doing much of anything. Like I say, I got the ATCs ready and out to my swap partner from Joni's group. I've just been doodling and thinking about these little books. Yesterday, that's all I did was that red and black book. So that's about it, guys. I have nothing else. I'm really boring these last few days. I'm going to get back to making some bits. Next week, I have want to make some more bookworms, And I've noticed I'm really low on chickens and things for some reason. I don't know where my stuff has gone. I must have been using it in on ATCs, but I find I'm really low on some things. Like I don't have finished fish. I just have a whole bunch of cutout fish. So, yeah. I appreciate you guys all for being here. Thanks, Janet. I like the size. And they don't have very many pages. This one, okay, has 23 pages. But it's the very first one I did, and I was excited, and I got really carried away. But I'm thinking that even if I just do cards, journal cards like this, the plasticky little journal cards, that could be fun. So, anyway, as I say, nothing new. I haven't created anybody new aside from the bookworms. That was the last of the bits that I have created for the creatures. Been really boring. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you. Thank you for our listeners up in the balcony. I hope that you took something away from this today, some sort of inspiration on whether you're going to make little plastic books or something different. But thanks you all for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. Take care, all. I will see you on Friday. I'm not sure if Jean is joining me. I haven't talked to her for a while either. Been kind of like a little hermit here in my happy zone. So take care, everyone. Hugs to you all. Enjoy your week. Bye now. Lost the mouse. There it is. Bye, guys.